I'll kill you all! I'll kill you all, madmen! Transgressors! I'll kill you all, devils!
Frank, go ahead.
His teeth chattering, Uriel raved in a display of utter savagery.
What have you done to him, Astaroth?
Camael's voice shook in suppressed rage.
I picked up a curious survivor, you see. I tried tampering with him for a bit, and here's the result. He thinks the whole world is out to get him.
You bastard!
Uriel, the girl over there is the Virgin Mary. Demons are trying to kidnap her. How about you save her from them?
Astaroth pointed at
Huh?
Kugutsu Sorami. Undiluted joy appeared on Uriel's face. One could even call his smile innocent, like a child's in that moment.
Oh, so we're safe. I will save you right away, Virgin Mary. Such a miracle! Such bliss!
A shudder ran down Sorami's spine. Abominable, repellent obsession tainted the hope for salvation reflected in the angel's eyes.
Uriel, don't listen to him! She's no holy
Get out of my way!
Uriel's hand lit up in azure flames. Camael, caught in the blast, lost his balance and toppled back. Joy warping his features, Uriel darted through the corridor.
As long as you're with us, there will be light in this world! As long as you're with us!
This is no good! Run, Sorami! It doesn't seem we can get through to him.
Run? How am I?
Bastard!
Belial, it is very unseemly to get in the way of such an emotional reunion.
Astaroth grabbed hold of the demon jurist, and then he turned to face another direction.
That applies to you too, Raziel.
Raziel appeared out of thin air, her hand pointed at Astaroth. Clicking her tongue, she stole a glance at Sorami. Uriel kneeled in front of the girl, caressing her hand with tears in his eyes. Camael was already on his feet again, but he could no longer do anything rash with the two being this close to each other now.
Oh, Maria. I'm so glad to have finally met you again. With you at our side, we can now revive all of the saints! It's no longer just a fleeting dream to regain the peace of the old. Ah, my dream fulfilled! My dream finally fulfilled!
He clung to her, weeping, most curious display of tender madness.
He can no longer perceive reality. The only thing he can see is his own Arcadia of old.
Astaroth, you bastard! You bastard!
Astaroth gave a deep bow.
Well then, I suppose we should be on our way already, Lucifuge.
Ah!
Your wish is my command, Master. Lucifuge!
That damn geezer!
Camael's bullet got swallowed by the darkness, hitting nothing.
Me! Sorry!
Raziel lunged forward, but unable to catch up with Uriel, crashed into the corridor's wall. Ha! Belial split the darkness in half with a swing of his trident. But Lucifuge, Astaroth, and Uriel seemed to have already escaped through it. That darkness swallowed the sound of their escape. The old-timer has some damn annoying tricks up his sleeve.
I'll have my soldiers surround and investigate the area as soon as they can get on it. Belial, can you take care of those still loyal to Astaroth?
Ah, what a pain in the ass. But I guess I have no choice in the matter.
Still, I heard Astaroth say something most curious. That Sorami is the only one who can find the gates to the future.
The future. It must have something to do with those eyes. She now possesses. I wonder if they function as the key to those gates.
Raziel cocked her head to the side. It seemed to ring a bell to Belial and Camael as the two took a deep, collective sigh. Yeah, if that's indeed true, it finally makes sense. This world ain't connected to the future. Past, present, future. Even the strangest of multiverse worlds had to obey the laws of time. One could travel through time to experience the future or the past if he had the necessary powers, but he would still be governed by the linearity of time. Even if he changed the past, it would still flow to the present, which in turn would continue flowing to the future. But what if someone severed the present from the past and future? Today would be the same as yesterday, and tomorrow would be the same as today, and that's exactly what's going on in this Tokyo Babel.
A world that has no future can only either freeze in time or wither away. And so this girl, Kugutsu Sorami, is the only one who can make the present and the future reconnect, huh?
Camael gave a heavy sigh.
Well, not like it matters.
Huh?
Raziel made a smile.
It doesn't concern me much. I'll save her because I want to, and because she's my friend. I might not mind risking my life for her a little. That's all there is to it. Anyway, I'd like to move independently from you two. I'll look for Sorami and rescue her from Ariel's hands.
Well, if that's what you want, we can leave the philosophizing to after we find Sorami and open the gates.
Alright.
She turned her heels and was about to fly away when Camael suddenly stopped her.
Wait. Do you have a lead on where to look for her?
No, but I can't just sit here doing nothing.
If you run into Uriel, call for me. I'll put an end to him. It's my duty.
Roger. And I guess I'll be on my way.
She waved goodbye to them and flew away. Camael and Belial took another collective sigh.
Looking at her makes me feel like an idiot for getting all riled up.
Tell me about it. Anyway, I'll be going too. Guess it's the end of Pandora, huh?
Yeah, in retrospect, it does feel like we had a relatively peaceful life here.
Hey, the world is still moving along, don't forget that. We still have to rescue that Sorami damsel, kick Uriel's ass, open the doors to the future, and jump through them. Only then can we say bye-bye to this world.
Seems I got a little bit ahead of myself. Sorry.
Well, if it made you lose some tension, then it's all for the best. Anyway, see you around. Belial disappeared into the corridor, leaving Camael alone. The Grand Angel silently considered the palm of his right hand.
I suppose it should be me to close the curtains.
It was most positively a fight to the death. Earth quaked and waters boiled as Leviathan howled. An unprecedented storm raged through the river of wailing. Still, there was never a time where Lilith had been exposed to actual danger. Attacks that fell on her didn't work. The others she would stop even before they started, or even worse, reflect them back.
Wasn't too hard, but you could have done anything about it.
Leviathan lay before Lilith's feet.
So even I couldn't.
Lilith shook her head with sorrow on her face.
You never believed you could do anything about me in the first place. You've done was just buy time, creature.
Don't make light of my sacrifice, Mother. The time I've bought will prove invaluable. For that man shall appear before you again one day.
Maybe he will. The world never spins the way you want, huh?
Lilith made a somber face.
Tell me one thing, Mother, while I still live. What are you planning to achieve by destroying the world?
Isn't it obvious? I'll become its god.
Try to go for a deeper voice, Mary.
Leviathan lost his words for a moment.
Of this world.
Lilith made a faint smile.
I shall destroy everyone. Men, angels, and demons. Continue to linger in this world with my servants alone. There is nothing else for me.
Indeed, there was nothing else for her anymore.
But that's...
What a foolish ambition. There was nothing waiting for her beyond that dream. Not hope, nor despair. She would continue living in nothingness, continue to exist. With no demons or angels to revere them, a god was just another beast. Her so-called servants were monsters that lived according to instinct, with no sentience in their minds. Her world had nowhere to move forward, nowhere to expand, just a primordial land stuck in eternal stagnation.
Leviathan, how long do you have?
Leviathan narrowed his eyes.
I suppose 5 minutes or so. What of it?
Oh, isn't it a mother's duty to see her son to the very end?
I see. Farewell, then, you wretched creature of a mother.
Leviathan closed his eyes with a smile. He'd be lying if he said he had no regrets. Still, he could not deny there was a sort of satisfying catharsis to his death. The world still had hope. He had sacrificed his life to protect it. And so he was content with his fate. He never yearned for much to begin with. He spent an eternity absent-mindedly swimming through the seas. But he didn't dislike that life. He definitely didn't. Lilith stood up after exactly 5 minutes, as Leviathan let out his last breath. The way she was now, not even space posed an obstacle to her. She could go wherever she wanted, return to wherever she wished. Kugutsu Sorami had no recollection of being a baby, nor could she recall her parents or friends. The oldest memory she had was sleeping on the school's desk. That was where all and everything had started for her. Maybe. She had a vague but terrible suspicion that her past might not have existed before that point. That she was a very realistic doll made by someone's hands, that someone had discarded her on a whim. That she was a half-hearted, superfluous existence. But who cared? She tried to console herself. There was no need to drive herself into an existential corner because the man she loved had feelings for another. She continued to ponder, for there was nothing else she could do. Uriel, the flame of God, one of the 4 master angels. Succumbing to madness, he apparently became a master to one of the stratums, yet now he was dancing from joy, devouring kegs of grape wine. Astaroth must have completely messed up his mind. She had to admit demons were indeed the masters of deceit.
Oh, Holy Mother, is there anything you wish of me?
She wished him to go away, but she didn't expect him to listen.
No, I am perfectly all right.
For starters, she evaded the question. She stole a glance at Uriel's face. Didn't seem like he was angered by her words, though she could still spot perplexity in his eyes. He might be slowly catching on to the truth. She took a deep breath. She didn't stand a chance against him in a fight, or rather the idea itself was ridiculous. She turned to dust the instant he hit her. And so, she could do nothing else but wait. All that was available to her right now was buying time until someone appeared to save her. Her main worry right now was what Uriel would do if he realized she wasn't the Holy Mother. In the best case scenario, he'd be deeply disappointed and let her go. In the worst case scenario, he'd kill her. In the average case scenario, he'd keep her as a prisoner. She could pray for the best case scenario all she wished, but Uriel was positively mad right now. She couldn't imagine him just letting her go on a whim. The average case scenario would be hardly different from the current situation, though unlike now, Uriel would grow a lot more unpredictable. In that case, she also couldn't rule out the possibility of him changing his mind and killing her later. Or rather, that possibility was exceedingly high. And in the worst case scenario, well, she'd have no choice but to lay down and die. At least he wouldn't harm her as long as he saw her as the Holy Mother, and so she arrived at the most obvious conclusion. She had to keep him thinking she was the Holy Mother, no matter what.
Mr. Uriel.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason why we are here?
Uriel gave Sorami a glare, his eyes sharp and imposing as razor blades.
Because we do not know where the danger might lurk. You are the Holy Mother of God's very children. You are the sole hope for this devastated world.
How about Raziel and Mr. Camael?
They are mad. Their minds have succumbed to the disease. But who can blame them? The God we used to cling to has vanished without a trace. Those two cannot be held accountable for their actions.
You can tell, Mr. Uriel?
Of course! I shall rear God's children to respectable saints. as the new members of divinity, they shall purify this land from its evil poison. We shall purify this world with Megiddo flame and build a new one atop its ruins.
The situation was extremely dangerous. He didn't want to conquer, but to purify the world. In other words, he wished for the complete and utter destruction of everything. Some food for thought, indeed. Sorami continued with her act.
Should we not show mercy to the dwellers of the old world? God loves those that know how to forgive.
Mercy? Are you out of your mind?
Sorami startled. Her heart almost jumped out from her throat. Her soul was inside his flaming hands. If he recognized her as a foe, he would scorch it to ash in an instant.
Only sinners, demons, and fallen angels remain in this world. I'm the last of the sane.
He suddenly flushed red, bowed his head.
Forgive me. I grew a little bit flustered.
It's all right. I can understand that you were just worried about me.
Thank you, O Holy Mother. But please, do not forget that all those who have remained in this world have already long forgotten their gratitude and respect to you. There is no need for mercy. I shall destroy them all.
I understand.
Was all that she could say. Uriel, eased by the fact his suggestion got through all right, flashed an innocent smile.
Uriel, what are you planning to do from now on?
For starters, we should ascend Tokyo Babel to the top after we are well rested. Do not worry. With your powers, there's nothing to be afraid of here.
I understand. In any case, we should rest for now.
Yes. Then I shall inspect the area and stand guard. If there's anything you need, just call my name.
He extended his wings and shot into the sky. Sorami let out a sigh of relief as he disappeared beyond the horizon. He was obsessed with her to the point of madness. All he wanted was to make the world right again. His words stemmed from goodness, and goodness alone. Unfortunately, he had long lost his ability to judge a good method or interpret sensible results. He couldn't even recognize the identity of the very holy mother he clung to.
Still.
Sorami continued to ponder, perpetually dwelling on all aspects of this world ever since opening her eyes in that orange classroom. Who caused the divine calamity? Who made Tokyo Babel, and why? What was the destination of them all? Some of her questions had answers, some didn't. Most of them didn't have much to do with her as an individual, but the last one, that one she had to scrutinize to the littlest detail. Where should she head to in the end? What was the correct choice? The future or the present? The present had already almost been lost. This world was filled to the brim with death. Its stench permeated its every layer. Hence, the survivors should go to the future. Sorami thought that decision to be the most sensible. Still, something she couldn't quite pinpoint bothered her. Was it...
Setsuna. Who else?
Yes. It was Tendo Setsuna. Where was he now? And what had happened to Lilith in the end? Question after question, her wish to see the boy again grew stronger and stronger with every passing thought. She wished to see and talk with him again. That was the only thing that still tied her to the present. Was this a situation where she should cling to God? Unfortunately, at this point, she had long lost all faith in the divine. And she wasn't mistaken in that choice, for God was already dead. Without a hint of struggle to survive, it stopped all of its functions for all time to come. And to make matters worse, the new god on the throne, Tiamat Lilith, was at present on her way to eradicate all angels, demons, and mankind. Two figures, casting the stubborn whispers of the chorus away, ascended the steps. Their only goal? Heaven. Adam and Eve. Breaking through the seventh stratum, the two were already at the very end of their pilgrimage. Adam betrayed little emotion about the fact, even though it was a deed worthy of unadulterated admiration.
So this is heaven.
He considered the solemn gates.
Raphael was the only one who seemed to put up somewhat of a fight in the end. In retrospect, our journey doesn't seem to have been that challenging to you.
Indeed. I had hoped I might discover something in my travels, but it seems I was just a sacrifice from beginning to end.
See that end of yours.
Adam and Eve opened the gates together. Adam's next goal was to become a sacrifice to quell God's anger and turn it to joy instead. He couldn't let him do that. Eve had a goal of her own. Having God die was part of it. The hardest and most complicated of parts. As long as she could get that done, the path to her ultimate goal would cease to be a vague dream.
What in the name of...
Even Eve was at a loss for words. Heaven was empty, devoid of everything. Only a strange object loomed in the horizon of the barren land.
Let's have a closer look.
Still in a daze, she gave him a nod and the two started onwards. Did she make a mistake somewhere along the way? Or was she too late for something? Her mind awhirl with confusion, Eve stopped before the thing. She comprehended. She ended up comprehending it all. This was the carcass of God. No arms or legs, no eyes, no face. A surreal object pieced together from thin metallic plates that looked like a sculpture from a modern art museum. It didn't resemble a living being in any shape or form. Not a trace of bones, muscles, skin, or organs ever being a part of the thing.
Oh, you two were a little bit too late.
A girl sat on the carcass, nonchalantly swinging her legs.
You're...
Sister?
Something was off. She had the same face, but the air about her was nothing like Eve knew. The color of her hair and eyes, too, seemed to have changed. Her sister was indeed a demon, but she was supposed to be the least demonic of them all. Yet this incarnation of terror before her eyes, who was it?
If you need hide it any longer, Tiamat Lilith shall hear your wish out.
Her heart jumped. The name the woman used to refer to herself surprised her enough, but the part about her wish pierced Eve like a knife.
Eve? Is she our ally or a foe?
Oh, Adam. Can't tell if I'm your enemy or not.
You do look like a foe to me. But I wish to confirm that first, just in case. After all, you are Eve's sister.
There was no hostility in Adam's words, nor did he grow tense or show despair on his countenance. He could understand full well that the girl before him was a being of incredible power. Yet he showed not a hint of fear, a bold display, or did he simply not possess the emotion itself?
I see. You can relax. I'm your ally, actually. At least the goals of Eve and myself coincide.
Goals?
Stop. Adam was the last person she wished to hear it.
Well, we can talk about what our goals entail some other time. Eve, will you join me?
Are you saying in that?
And what? Will you fight me here for no reason instead? I only desired the end result, but how about you? You also want to enjoy the process, don't you?
That's...
What will you do, Eve? You take my hand, or brush it off?
Eve considered Lilith's outstretched hand, then her smile, assuring the girl that the end result wouldn't change whether she took the hand or not. But if she brushed it off, her sister would turn to a foe, and in that case, what chance was there for Adam and herself to prevail? The choice was clear.
Will you leave everything to me?
Yes, I swear not to interfere.
And I'm alright.
She took Lilith's hand. There was nothing to regret. The biggest wall standing in between her and her goal had shattered. That was all. What was left now?
I'm glad I did not have to fight you.
With that, Adam returned his sword back to the pocket dimension. He didn't know anything. He didn't know how terrifying in truth that parlay actually was.
Adam, there's something I need you to do for me.
What is it?
Destroy. World.
You mean everything, as in heaven and Tokyo Babel?
Yes. Everything.
Alright. If you say so, I shall obey.
Adam gave her a small, simple nod as if it were the most obvious choice in the world. It was only natural. He was designed to obey everything Eve told him. There was nothing strange about his behavior. He would go on and destroy the world, just like this.
I'm sorry, Adam.
Sorry. I'm sorry. She wished for forgiveness for having robbed him of his mind.
Oh? What are you apologizing for?
Sister, please don't interfere.
If that's what you want. It's so nice to be loved that much, ain't it?
This was no love.
This was...
No,
This
Frank,
was no
oh,
love.
Yeah.
Their marriage was a sham. Tiamat Lilith let out a jovial laugh, and mentioning she had business of her own, promptly disappeared. Eve wished to clear the misunderstanding up, tell her that there was no love between them, but after a few moments, she realized there was no meaning in such a thing.
Love is so complicated. I don't think even I could ever understand it.
Adam cocked his head with a troubled expression. Eve thought his manner ridiculous and sad. There was no love between the two. Their hearts were miles apart. And that's why Eve couldn't quite understand what he had done. He embraced her with a vigor that seemed to stem from nothing else but unadulterated affection.
Adam, what are you...
I don't know. You just seem sad.
She had no idea what he was talking about. So what if she looked sad?
It's something married couples do, isn't it?
Adam's face was millimeters from hers, and like always, a blank look adorned it. What on earth?
I didn't ask you to come for me.
She asked no such thing of him. This wasn't her wish.
No, you didn't.
No, she didn't. And so, this situation was impossible. He couldn't possibly move out of his own volition.
But I thought it was natural for a husband to attempt to console his wife if he noticed she was sad.
She suffered a shock bigger from that than when she met her sister in this place. The man did this, all out of his own will. Adam considered her reaction with puzzlement in his eyes. He then nodded to himself and drew away. An indescribable sense of loss clutched at her heart. Countless questions, confusion, and an emotion she couldn't quite understand blended together, taking her words away from her.
I'm sorry. It appears I made another mistake.
Huh?
I thought I made you feel bad.
No, that's not it. I'm sorry, Adam. I just got surprised a little.
I see. So I surprised you.
Adam, would you get angry if I told you that you were just my puppet?
There is no point in getting angry at the impossible.
Adam showed no hesitation with his answer. Eve's heart erupted in conflict at what he said. Should she order him to do something ridiculous so he could understand his situation for himself? For example, should she make him lick her shoes or break his own arms? That would likely be enough to wake him up to reality. But what point was there to it? Still, it might be for the best to have him know his place.
It's a little bit strange, or rather, it doesn't make much sense to ask something like this of you right now, but...
What is your wish?
Dance with me?
In the end, only an innocent order could leave her lips. Adam nodded and gave her his hand.
Let me warn you, I don't know how to dance.
I'll teach you. Though, I cannot say I have much experience either.
Eve gave a bashful smile. An expression she'd crafted and perfected over the years finally appeared on her face naturally. The two joined their hands, and so a barren place that used to be heaven turned into a dancing hall for the original man and his woman. For a moment, at least. Raziel, secret of God, scoured the area for traces of Uriel. She sniffed the air like a hound for the smallest hint of his smell. She inspected and analyzed all the traces that might have remained on the ground. Sorami was an incredibly important individual, a key to the world of the future. She kept repeating that to herself. In that way, she hoped to push the other fact from her mind, that she was personally acquainted with and loved Sorami as her friend. The girl's life rested upon Raziel's ability to track her down. That fact would disturb her concentration. She had to calm down and form her plan of action in a cold, meticulous, and logical manner, like making a ship in a bottle. For one, they will probably have to erase Uriel, though for this one deed she didn't have to rely on herself. And to tell the truth, being a scholarly type, she had serious doubts about her ability to win against Uriel in a fight. Camael indeed was a much better choice for matters of that nature. She had to rescue Sorami no matter what. The lives of everyone in Tokyo Babel might as well have rested upon her safety. Uriel wouldn't leave Sorami alone the way he was now, and Sorami couldn't possibly escape from him. He currently saw and revered her as the Holy Mother of God, and at the same time he deemed everyone else to be his foes. He was doubtless patrolling the area the two were hiding at like a killer bee protecting its hive. The moment she'd get into his territory, he'd likely attack her right away and waste no time on questions. She doubted there was any room for threats or negotiation with that angel. In other words, she'd have to enter the fight on the defensive, make sure that Sorami was safe, and then escape with her.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Say at least. She detected them just as she arrived at the aqueduct.
Camael, we come over to the aqueduct in the third stratum.
Did you find them?
entirety of the Grand Dome seems to have been enveloped in flames. I don't think anyone but Belial could pull that off.
Alright, don't make a move until I come.
She was about to say Roger when their communication link suddenly disconnected.
What?
Raziel glanced around and clicked her tongue. The area around her became shrouded in the impenetrable dark of the night, despite it being in the middle of the afternoon. There were very few who could pull off such a feat. The Grand Chancellor of Hell, with concealment as his raison d'etre, was one of them.
Let this stratum be a sanctuary only for the darkness and the flames. Your wisdom has no place here, Raziel.
Lucifuge appeared, floating in the air, and looked down upon Raziel. The angel sighed and readied her tablet.
I think you might have a problem. I can't read in the dark.
Then allow me to plunge you into a world devoid of books.
And let me send you scurrying all the way to the world of light.
Lux Fusio!
Raziel took an unsteady step back to dodge the almost invisible attack. Instinct, or rather, precognition, her head could run virtual simulations.
Gut, wer liegt?
Light surrounded Raziel as she uttered the spell, repelling the tentacles of darkness that were about to ensnare her.
Impressive.
Lucifuge, let me reiterate. I am a scholar, a knowledgeable type. I hate exercising with a passion. But that doesn't mean I'm good at losing either. Space manipulation, Earth, level 4.
The asphalt melted away and, coiling around Lucifuge's feet, suddenly pulled the demon down into the depths of its swamp of tar.
Maybe the look of fire will help you see the light in being crushed. Property a pension. Throne!
With more gusto.
Can we reread the whole thing?
Yeah.
Maybe the look of fire will help you see the light in being crushed. Property a pension. Throne!
A blazing wheel appeared above Lucifuge and dropped straight on him. Raziel, true to her word, crushed the sneaky demon.
Seems to have hit alright.
Sharp pain suddenly assaulted Raziel's ankle. A black string seemed to have coiled around her before she knew it. She followed it with her eyes to see it came from the inside of the swamp of tar.
Seems my aim was true after all.
She booted another spell in an instant, surrounding herself with a thick layer of air, but it wasn't enough to neutralize the string clutching her. He was hurled into the air, crashed into the asphalt with an incredible force. Her bones creaking, a mouthful of blood vacated her throat. Her insides couldn't escape the damage. The scenery around her blurred, most likely because she crashed into the asphalt head first.
You are sorely lacking in experience, power, and even conviction. Be gone, Raziel! You do not have the right to stand on this stage.
Lucifuge emerged from the swamp of tar, seemingly unharmed. Raziel pursed her lips at Lucifuge's unscathed form. She felt neither despair nor resignation. She continued to analyze the situation, looking for a way to prevail. But in that moment, a completely unexpected variable suddenly entered the equation. She sighed. Lucifuge twisted his face in irritation as he well saw him emerge.
Uriel. Good grief! Your presence here was the last thing we desired.
Raziel had to agree. The Mad Angel was like lightning. You never knew where he would strike.
Get out of here, devils! This is the abode of Holy Maria! If you shan't leave, I'll turn you to ash this instant!
Talk about impetuous.
Oh, good grief!
Lucifuge sighed and raised his right hand. A swarm of black strings coiled all around Uriel the next instant.
I see. So you point your blades at me. There is no need for mercy then. I shall exact divine punishment, true to my name as the Flame of God.
Uriel's strategy, if one were to be generous, was exceedingly simple. He doused the entire area in flames. He raged like a mad beast. And yet, Raziel could do nothing but run from his attacks.
I didn't catch that, CJ.
Water! More!
It was natural to use water against fire, but the thick wall of liquid that covered Raziel evaporated the very instant it came in contact with the roaring flames.
No effect. Lucifuge, it's you who made him like this. You can control him and do something.
Unfortunately, the madman has broken free from our dominion. If anything, you should be the one to keep him company as his former comrade.
Lucifuge made a huge jump backward. But Uriel ignored him. He stopped his onslaught and considered Raziel with eyes burning with killing intent.
What do you want?
Wait a second. I think I remember you from somewhere.
Uriel covered his face with his hands. Raziel shuddered from a bad premonition.
Yes, I remember now. You're the secrets of God, Raziel.
Indeed I am. And what about it?
Uriel's howl fell on her like an explosion.
How dare you show your face in front of me! You traitor! You ruined us!
Huh?
For a split second, Raziel froze in place, overcome by a torrent of thoughts and emotions. It wasn't like he retained the wits to utilize this situation to his advantage, but Uriel's punishing flame ended up crashing into her right at that moment. Without getting the chance to let out a scream, she crashed into the hard ground. Lucifuge's trick a couple of moments ago was child's play compared to the potency of this mad attack. She felt herself burn. She felt herself melt. She felt herself turn to ash. She couldn't control her breathing. She summoned water to cool and regenerate her skin. But Uriel wasn't an opponent who let his victim off the hook like that.
It's all your fault! Why are you still alive? Why?
He rammed his feet into her stomach. She regurgitated blood. It was likely that he'd just crushed some of her organs. She didn't know how she could possibly answer his question. Surprising herself, Raziel considered the raging Uriel with a perfectly cold and collected mind. Indeed, she didn't know why she was still alive. It was a deep question, brushing against the inner layers of her very raison d'etre. Because she wanted to read? That was a hobby. So she could defeat Uriel? No, she didn't care about such things. To save Kugutsu Sorami? That was her wish, of course, but that was not reason enough to live for. There was something else, beyond the rescue of her friend, something that...
I see. It was surprisingly simple.
She wished to see the future of mankind. Human lives didn't revolve around pilgrimages to Tokyo Babel. They had much more important goals of their own. Write new books, for example, to come up with ideas that she would have never dreamed of herself. Novels, records, essays, mortals presented her with boundless knowledge. New possibilities, one thing that mortals possessed and angels didn't. That's why she wished to save them. To save the unknown, to save the future, to save the boundless possibilities. If she fell here, all that would return to dust. She didn't want that. She grinded her teeth. Concentrating her whole energy into her hand, she summoned a spell of earth. A metal projectile, as hard as diamond and as heavy as mercury, crashed into Uriel's face.
What?
She stood up, somehow. She brushed the blood off her lips and proceeded with the coldest of tones.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
She hurt all over. The flames surrounding Uriel, as if having grown sentient, were gnawing at her flesh, cooking her as if she were within a grill. But she took the pain, Uriel's anger and hate, head on.
Maybe I have done something to you, but there's something within my memories I have lost. But that means little to me now.
She didn't care at all. It was a personal sin she had to atone for by herself. But she wasn't important right now. This fight right here wasn't related to her past or redemption.
I'll save Kugutsu Sorami. That's all. I have no time to play with you.
Insolent!
Raziel's words were potent enough to pierce a mad heart. She smiled at her foe's astonishment.
Holy Mother is my friend, you see. I'll have you return her to me promptly.
You insolent!
Raziel clutched onto her tablet.
The darkest depths of the ocean we dwell, hearts at the mercy of despair. The moon and the stars, former kings of the night, have taken their leave, surrendering the world to darkness eternal.
A chant. Not one begging for a blessing, but laying a curse.
We shall sever the very root of life. I shall be unmasking all those who have succumbed to pride. May you and your sins be swept away by my waves.
The most depraved way to utilize one of the four basic elements. The rain that fell for 40 days and 40 nights. The flood that prevailed on Earth for 150 days. A flood that only Noah and those chosen by him survived.
My flame!
Even the flames of divine punishment were nothing against his reign, for it was a tool to destroy the world itself.
This rain can do little physical damage, and even if it did, I don't think I'd bolster it to the level needed to kill you. But you understand, do you not, that you are in a tight spot?
Don't mock me, Raziel! You truly think you can best a master angel who has braved countless battlefields like myself?
No one said I would fight.
What?
Uriel made a confused face. Raziel suddenly melted into the air, disappearing without a trace.
Are you kidding me?
He couldn't see Raziel anywhere through the falling rain. He bolstered his flames to evaporate the offensive liquid all around the area. But it only worked for a moment. The rain resumed falling before the steam had time to disperse them in the wind. Uriel could barely see a meter ahead of him through the terrible squall.
Oh, damn it! Where is she? Where?
The next moment he realized she would, without doubt, be going for the Holy Mother.
She's going to rob me again! To rob me of the things I treasure again! Damn it! Damn it!
Cursing, raging, he bolted towards the area where he left the Holy Mother in waiting. Around Uriel, as if symbolizing his anger, an explosive ball of fiery energy raged, evaporating everything in its path. It helped him to see a little bit better. With no time to waste, he continued his flight to the Holy Mother's abode. Why was this happening? The whole world conspired against him. Everyone wanted to murder him. So he'd kill them all. Kill, kill, and kill again. There was no need for mercy. It was all to exact the deserved divine punishment and to achieve the greater good. Cruelty didn't factor into the equation. Still, his foe was great. Countless vile angels, demons, and humans stood in his way. And now, they were trying to destroy his last hope for salvation. He couldn't forgive Raziel's horrid transgressions. He'd have her suffer in his divine furnace for an eternity. His goal was clear. Now he had only to catch up with her before it was all too late. Still, the damn rain. The offensive liquid assaulted Uriel as if consciously trying to hinder his flight. But he wouldn't give up. He wouldn't lose this. He had to receive his salvation. He had to. He had to.
Raziel!
Uriel crashed into the dome with a howl, momentarily dispelling the water with the most potent of his flames.
Here you are.
Raziel, in her insolence, clutched the hand of the Holy Mother with her dirty paws, trying to pull her away.
You think I'm gonna let you do that?
The terrified Holy Mother looked at Uriel with eyes begging for help.
Don't come any closer!
He froze in place.
Huh?
He suddenly felt his emotions dry up. Even the terrible rage that had been causing volcanoes to erupt in his heart suddenly seemed to vanish. Before Sorami had the chance to seek shelter from the sudden rain, Raziel appeared before her and clasped her hand.
Raziel!
Raziel didn't seem to lose her calm demeanor even in this situation.
Yep, that's me. With no time to wait. Follow me, Sorami.
Yeah.
She didn't care to ask where. She wanted to get away from the Mad Angel as soon as possible. Raziel, however, suddenly stopped and made a face. She then turned around.
It's faster than I thought. Is it me who's slow?
You mean Mr. Uriel?
Yes, Mr. Uriel.
Sorami was hit by an incredible wave of heat as she turned around. The whole dome seemed to suddenly light up in flames. Uriel howled as he lunged towards them. Raziel, losing the color from her face, prepared to meet him. Sorami instantly understood the situation. If Raziel fought Uriel here, she had no chance of winning. If she just went on the defensive, she might have still held her ground somewhat, but there was no way she'd be able to fight properly and look out for Sorami at the same time. And it would be foolish to expect Uriel to show mercy at this point. Raziel had to somehow get out of this area while fending off Uriel and protecting Sorami at the same time. There was no way she could pull it off. But what other option did they have? Kugutsu Sorami, what do you think? Stupid question. The choice was clear.
Don't come any closer!
Uriel froze in place the moment these words left her lips.
What?
She continued to address the bewildered Uriel.
You suspected, didn't you? You already realized that I couldn't be Mary, the Holy Mother, didn't you?
No, your grace is...
Stop lying to yourself. You're just trying to cling to whatever's in front of you. All you're doing is turning a blind eye to reality to escape your despair.
Why would you know that?
The air around Uriel warped and twisted, realizing that Raziel tried to stop Sorami, but the girl continued her rejection in a cold tone.
The Holy Mother is not here. She's no longer in this world, Mr. Uriel. She can't save you. I can't save you.
The notion didn't shackle him as hard as one might have expected. It was a thing Astaroth put into his head, after all, not his own genuine conviction. He could continue thinking of Kugutsu Sorami as the Holy Mother up until this point only because she herself didn't seem to deny it. In other words, Sorami's speech had shattered the last illusion still veiling his mind.
I see. So, you are...
Yes. So please, Mr. Uriel, can you leave us alone?
It's no use, Sorami.
Raziel shook her head. Sorami understood that much herself. She understood perfectly well.
Then I shall condemn you, sinners! I am the divine executor, the incarnate of God's fury. Your sole path to redemption is through taking your own lives. But if you refuse your chance at salvation, then I shall exact the punishment myself.
Sorami smiled and glanced up into the sky.
Mr. Camael!
The cry towards the heavens did indeed reach the ears of the Crimson Angel. It was a miracle that Uriel managed to jump out of harm's way in time, or it may have been a testament to his incredible sense for battle. Retribution's bullet had drilled through the very ground that Uriel had been standing on moments ago.
Camael! You bastard!
Camael returned Uriel's glare of blood-chilling animosity with cold eyes.
How did you know he was here, Sorami?
Even Raziel didn't notice the Crimson Angel up until he fired his weapon.
I kinda saw him around.
He let it go casually, as if it were nothing significant. But from this point on, Raziel began to suspect that this girl might very well be more apt for using the all-seeing eyes than Gethel herself. The girl whose destiny was to lead them to the future. Raziel could finally acknowledge her. After all, she was the real thing.
Is something wrong, Raziel?
Sorami considered Raziel with puzzled eyes.
Something, Sorami. Anyway, let's get out of here before we get roasted by a stray bee or something.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you escape!
Uriel launched a fireball at the two, but Camael, as if it were the most natural thing ever, promptly shot it down from the sky.
It's been a while, Uriel. I can't say I looked forward to meeting you again, but here we are, I guess.
Camael sighed in mock aggravation.
The Crimson Hound. You dare rebel against a Master Angel? That's a
sin most terrible, you want to say? Of course. Everything becomes a sin as long as you label it so.
Camael pointed retribution at Uriel. The air itself creaked from the sudden tension. Even Raziel and Sorami, who were on their way to escape, stopped in their tracks.
But Uriel, you should know that I carry on my shoulders a grand duty, a mission to save mankind and lead them to the future.
Uriel let out a condescending chortle.
Ha! You're gonna save them? Man ain't worthy of salvation. You yourself know that much, don't you?
Indeed I do. Men are not worth saving.
Camael agreed with Uriel's words with a serene smile on his lips. Sorami and Raziel considered Camael in astonishment.
Then...
Uriel, salvation and worthiness mean nothing in the present situation.
A hint of sadness crept onto Camael's countenance.
We're just like them. We're just like humans without God's grace there to guide us. We're just a flock of angels who have lost their way, not unlike men.
How dare you!
We can no longer guide anyone. We might have been able in the past, but not anymore. Of course, men are no longer worthy of salvation. We've lost the power to judge them to begin with. But it's alright. It's alright. Uriel, face reality.
Stop mocking me!
His rage took the shape of flame and shot at Camael. Easily predicting such an outcome, it was child's play for Camael to split it apart with a swing of his executioner's sword.
Thought you'd react like this. Your mind has long succumbed to madness, Uriel. God damn it. To think I'd end up having to kill you of all people. Such a cruel world this is.
So that's what he meant.
Camael knew how Uriel would interpret his words full well. The Master Angel would never forgive the insolence of someone below him.
Seal of Tartarus!
A steel bolt now graced Uriel's hands, a tool that used to seal the very gates of hell. On the other side, Camael readied his executioner's sword, death in one hand, and the revolver, retribution, in the other.
Uriel, to tell you the truth, I hated you back from the days we were in the heavens.
What a coincidence! I too always dreamed about tearing you to pieces!
Neither wished to waste their breath any longer. A terrible explosion reverberated across the sky. One would never guess that there was the mere clang of metal and not the detonation of an atomic bomb. The steel bolt and the executioner's sword clashed.
Raziel, get out of this stratum as quick as you can.
Gritting his teeth, Camael addressed Raziel without turning to face her. The angel hesitated for a second. Maybe she could help somehow. But she soon changed her mind. She would only get in his way.
All right, let's go, Sorami.
Yeah.
Raziel.
Camael still had his back to Raziel. Executioner's sword in one hand, revolver in the other. He put his all into holding against Uriel's onslaught. Yet for some odd reason,
I leave everything to you.
Raziel could tell he smiled as he told her those words.
Yeah, bastard!
Go! 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 Get out of here already!
Raziel and Sorami flew into the sky in silence. Uriel wished to pursue them, but even he realized he couldn't turn his back on Camael. It would take some time to escape from this sword lock that the Crimson Angel got him in.
I'll just track them down again after I kill you!
If you think you can, then try harder.
Camael's left hand jerked back due to the recoil, and the next moment the muzzle of his revolver pointed straight at Uriel's head. Uriel instantly made his steel bolt explode. The blast swept both of them out of the way, but Uriel, prepared for the detonation, was the first to regain his ground.
Sibbles!
My punishment shall... bullets.
Prophecy!
I didn't catch that. Both of you try again.
Prophecy!
David? You're on mute.
If you can hear me, the stream is freezing up on my end. All I see is my punishments will take the form of 6 bullets.
Okay.
And strike my foes true!
Forgetting their defense, the two concentrated on destroying each other. One of the bullets hit Uriel right in the forehead. One of the steel nails severed Camael's left arm, sending it flying. Everything around them burned, melted, and fell apart, unable to withstand their sheer destructive power. The dome that turned into their battlefield soon changed into an unrecognizable ruin. Fighting down the pain, he reattached his arm, probably because he favored the connection of nerves first. A burning pain seemed to run along every single cell of his limb. He inhaled a deep breath. He grinded his teeth. His pride made him swallow the pathetic scream that tried to escape his lips. Uriel was the same. He pulled the bullet out of his forehead with his own fingers. Shedding torrents of blood and biting down incredible pain, the two angels glared at each other. Onwards. The nails Uriel's steel bolt had exploded into shot at Camael. Onwards. Camael initiated a second volley as soon as he reloaded his gun. A bout most intense, fierce. They didn't even bother to evade each other's weapons, even though each could rival the potency of a nuclear bomb. The two angels were just brutalizing each other.
Return!
The steel nails returned back to Uriel's hands, reforming back to his trusty bolt. He smashed it straight into Camael's stomach, the blow akin to that of a giant's fist. The Crimson Angel's adamantine bones shattered like glass. Blood shot from his throat like a fountain. He tried gulping at least part of it back down, the terrible taste of copper filling his mouth.
I still have something for you!
Spinning around like a whirlwind, he swung his steel bolt again, crushing Camael's back this time. In this case, being slow to fall proved to be a detriment to Camael. The next moment, another swing of Uriel's steel bolt crashed into his face again. He covered the bloody mess that was his face with his hands. Still, not letting a single scream out, he glared at Uriel through his fingers.
You're boring me, Camael. I hope you ain't planning to die just from losing your head like some filthy mortal.
Camael spun around, dodging Uriel's next swing. The Master Angel couldn't help but click his tongue at his lousy attack.
Too late.
Camael pulled the Peacemaker out of is holster as he spun, and now its silver muzzle aimed straight at Uriel. 6 shots, 2 in between the eyes, 2 in the heart, and 1 at each of his hands. The 6 bullets drilled holes in the Master Angel's flesh with absolute precision. And that wasn't all. The bullets of retribution held the power to shackle sinners to the earth. Their effect, of course, was meager on a Master Angel, but
Just give me a split second. A single fleeting moment.
he tossed retribution aside and clutched the hilt of death with both of his hands. Barely 2 meters separated the two angels. He had to go straight if he could just maintain this trajectory.
Please.
An almost palpable vision of death popped into Uriel's mind. His opponent's weapon was an executioner's sword that granted absolute death to everyone short of God himself. No being could escape the end after having their necks severed by its blade. Still, the old Uriel, possessing the soul of a Master Angel, might have been able to still transcend such a fate somehow. Unfortunately, rather than staying tied to this world, the souls would instead instantly vanish in this post-divine calamity universe. Uriel's was no exception. If he met the blade, he'd die, and he could do nothing about it. Hence, therefore, Uriel regained his old self for a split second. He regained his mind, his ability to reason, design strategies, and look for holes in the techniques of his foes. With a terrifying howl, he tore away from the bullets that shackled him. He literally tore the pieces of his body that the bullets were embedding into shreds.
What?
Camael's deadly strike fell on Uriel's chest instead. A fountain of blood shot from the wound, but it was far from lethal. And as long as it wasn't deadly, Uriel could heal it like any other wound.
Everyone keeps getting in my way!
He glared at Camael with hateful, cold eyes.
I'll kill you! I swear I'll kill you all! You! Angels! Humans! Demons! Everyone! Everyone!
Fierce flames erupted all around Uriel. He bolted to the horizon, retreating from the battle at the speed of a jet. The instincts of a hardened warrior brutally declared the truth. He'd most definitely die if he stayed in this place.
God damn it. Had to go through all that pain for nothing.
Despite his words, Camael understood full well that while his attack in the end didn't prove lethal, it still caused long-standing damage to the angel. For to escape, he had to tear his arms and heart away.
I doubt there's anyone else but me who can put him out of his misery.
Camael steeled his heart for their undoubtedly forthcoming second encounter.
Whatever. I'll keep you company to the very end.
He sighed, and supporting his still aching body, flew away. He had to catch up with Raziel and Sorami as soon as possible.
I think this might be Camael.
Angel Commander! Angel Commander! Please respond!
A telepathic link suddenly opened in his mind. He kept the transmissions off during the battle, but he guessed he had time to hear his subordinates out now.
Is this still me?
Just go with it, yes.
What is it? Pandora's fallen.
His mind went completely blank for a second.
Huh? Adam has returned and destroyed Pandora.
Flames were devouring Pandora, leaving only dust and ash in their wake. Ironically, it was the holy relics that the angels themselves bestowed upon mankind that laid waste to their current abode. A spear that had tasted the blood of a saint, and the holy swords that once forged history itself. And it was Adam, the most powerful man that the angels themselves created, who wielded the old relics with deadly intent.
Right, go for it.
Do you have any idea what you're doing? A shadow of a young man flickered among the flames. The holy sword Durandal twitched in his hand and pierced the chest of the angel who tried, clinging to his knees, showing no hesitation whatsoever.
Of course, nameless angel. I am of sane mind, and yet am destroying this Pandora nonetheless. If you wish to stop me, then run your mouth less and fight instead.
You should know your place, human!
Yes, that's what you all think about us in your hearts.
A girl appeared and nestled at Adam's side. Eve? You too?
Yes. This is what I wished for. My long-awaited dream. Farewell, everyone. We meet next. I guess we wouldn't have been gone.
He made a bashful smile.
Farewell. An eternity, then, everyone.
Infernal flames erupted from the tip of Adam's sword, engulfing all the angels around the two, and turning them to ash in mere moments. A part of the wall crumbled, the classroom beyond it falling apart in its wake.
I couldn't find anyone in the principal's office, student council's room, so I think we should check the library next instead.
Let's head there right now then.
Yes. Let's burn their books and write some of all their dreams.
The two proceeded straight to the library. There was no one left alive in the area who could possibly stop them.
Oh?
Thought you'd come around this time. They indeed did.
A male and female Dantalion stood in the way to the library. They paid no particular attention to Adam or the sword in his left hand. Still, there were only two of them. No other Dantalions seemed to be around.
What about the others?
James.
They're no longer here. Everyone else has forsaken this place.
Mary, both of you just alternate.
They brought as many books with them as they could carry. Not like that was any different from trying to move a sea with your bare hands.
The books in the library were collected from countless worlds of the multiverse. Their number is more or less infinite as far as the human mind is concerned. It was impossible to move them all in a short span of time.
Adam.
I thought that books meant everything to you.
Dantalion obsessed over books to the point of lunacy. There was doubtless nothing more precious to them in this world, and so Adam expected them all to try to protect this place, no matter the cost.
That is true. But we have enough of a sane mind to realize sometimes you have to make sacrifices.
Likewise, one shouldn't hesitate to light his books on fire to save the life of a little girl shivering from the deadly cold.
There are times when an angel, or even a demon, writes a book. However, look at this infinite sea of writings. Those were all done by human hands, to the last drop.
In other words, as long as there are humans who understand the concept of the written word and pay the trouble to describe the lives of their ancestors, the books will not die out.
And so, it's not that big of an issue to leave the books behind. Though I can't say I don't find this outcome most regrettable either.
The girl traced her fingers against the cover of the book in her hands, as if she were stroking the hair of a loved one. The words, the passion, the knowledge.
I see, but unfortunately, we are planning to destroy all and everything there is. No new books will ever see light in the future world.
Dantalion made a mocking smile.
You think so?
Eve, your plan is to destroy Pandora and all angels, demons, and humans within, isn't it?
No. I'm planning to destroy angels, demons, humans, and myself as well.
She declared her plan to take her own life with a tender smile.
I see. Well, this is just my intuition as a demon, but try hearing me out.
Go ahead.
Your wish won't grow to fruition.
Adam, Eve, a man who shall destroy you, will soon appear in your path.
That's a most interesting notion.
Adam parted his lips for the first time. Eve considered his face, surprised. Only she could understand the true emotion hidden in those words. Adam was delighted by the thought.
Thank you for your kind words. If you wish it so, I can end your lives in an instant.
Just burn us together with our books. There's no need to hesitate.
Push onwards, Adam and Eve, to your final destination.
Adam nodded and swung his sword, severing the very space of the library from Pandora.
What is it?
was just curious about what they said. The one who could destroy us.
Tendo Setsuna.
Adam said the name as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Eve straightened her back out of surprise.
Why do you think it would be him?
Intuition. No, not really. All of the cells in my body are whispering to me in unison that a man I consider my nemesis is on his way here.
Neither Setsuna or Adam knew the truth. That Adam was made according to Setsuna's design. The only parts different between them were their faces and their hearts. Everything else was exactly the same, be it their muscular build, sturdiness, or speed. But their engines, their hearts, differed greatly, and Adam, whose heart was designed especially for battle, had the upper hand in this case. Still, this world was ruled by the power of raison d'etre, not that of the physical. If Tendo Setsuna has found a reason to live in his journey, then...
Don't worry.
Huh?
I will not fall. Of all the people in this world, he is the one I swore to myself to never lose against.
Noticing a shadow on Eve's face, he made such a declaration.
Yeah, you're right.
She smiled. Adam turned his gaze to the sky, and Eve, too, on some metaphysical level, understood. She understood that he would definitely come. And soon, Adam and Eve proceeded towards the roof together. The last bastion of Pandora, the fall of which would signify its end. The two had not a drop of hesitation left in their hearts.
Can't escape from this, I guess. Not like I had any intention to do so in the first place.
Flames engulfed the walls of the library. The Dantalions sat on their wooden chairs and regarded the burning library absent-mindedly. Disappearing, turning to ash, and was the fate of everything in this world to turn to dust in the end. The passion, the knowledge, the memories, the records, everything. The young man let out a sigh.
I wonder if our other selves have managed to escape unharmed.
Yeah. There is no way left for us to learn their fate at this point. Don't you find this a terrible waste, Dantalion?
A tear trickled down the girl's cheek. She probably didn't realize it due to the heat evaporating.
Indeed I do. Such a waste.
There was no telling how much effort went into creating everything there was in this place. Some books took months, some years, and some decades to write. A thought crossed the mind of the young man as he regarded the crying girl.
Have you noticed, Dantalion, that despite collecting, overseeing, and protecting all writings in this place?
Yeah, I did. We have yet to write a book of our own.
The young man's next words came out naturally, almost as if insignificant. The girl nodded to the young man's words.
Yeah. Let's see if we're any good.
The girl and the young man turned to their blank pages with smiles most unbefitting the perilous situation.
I wonder what I should write.
A novel? A novelette? Or maybe a short story?
The young man nodded and considered the blank page with a pen in hand. After a few dozen seconds, the two regarded each other again.
This is pretty hard.
Indeed it is.
Refusing to give up, the two nonetheless began penning their stories. No one would ever see, would ever read their writings, yet they continued pouring their souls into the paper. They wrote. They wrote because they wanted to. They tried writing what they thought. They tried applying the techniques they knew. They tried writing from their hearts.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's really fun.
Both got momentarily surprised by each other's face, for both wore childish grins on their lips. The young man tried his hand at a fantasy adventure story. He wasn't foolish enough to make himself the protagonist. There were many others more fit for fighting dragons than he. The girl tried her hand at a romantic story. She regretted making herself the protagonist right away. The whole thing was too embarrassing to write. Words poured onto the page, painting a heroic saga for the perseverant hero, enduring peril after peril. Words poured onto the page, painting a happy end of love in the face of many an adversary.
I finished.
Me too.
They exchanged their minute stories that fit but a single page. They read through them in seconds, almost in an instant. The girl smiled. The young man smiled, for the last words of both of their stories turned out to be the same. A tiny gesture of gratitude to each other and themselves they thought to leave behind. The flames continued to devour the library, not letting a single piece of paper escape. Yet, they nonetheless, the two Dantalions who chose to remain in the library to the very end, minding not the deadly heat of the flames, lost themselves in the joy of reading for one last time. Adam gazed up into the sky and nodded to himself. The heavens rumbled. The clouds that should have been plastered to the sky shuffled and gave way for something, or someone, incoming.
He is coming.
Eve gazed up into the sky as well. She couldn't see anything. But she knew Adam couldn't have been wrong in matters where Tendu Setsuna was concerned. She found herself oddly disgruntled by the idea. And true to Adam's words, after a few moments, Tendu Setsuna landed on Pandora's roof.